evening, friends, industry members, participants of this webinar, which is Springback Web Series 4, ably supported by Mr. Ashish Garg from KGK Group, Ms. Nirupa Bhatt, and powered by the New Jeweller International Media Group. So this is fourth in the series, and we invite you for this educative and informative webinar on digital medium, which is, we think, the most important topic, which is most important for rejuvenating the businesses over the lockdown that the jewelers and the jewelry industry members would be looking at. I welcome Mr. Ashish Garg and thank him for ably supporting the webinar series to say a few words and mention the speakers. Mr. Ashish Garg.
Thank you, Subbu. Today's topic of webinar is very important one, and one which talks about preparing us for the future. Digital medium is need of the hour to adopt to the same as early as possible to ensure revenue keeps flowing once you are back to business in full stream. And thus today, our two eminent panelists who are master of their own segments will be guiding with their journey through digital medium in the pandemic. I welcome Mr. Muthan, founder and CEO of Carrot Lane, one of the biggest website platform, e-commerce jewelry platform in India, and Mr. Hemant Shah, consultant and industry veteran on this webinar panel. Thank you very much for your presence. I now request Mr. Subbu to introduce the speakers and open the webinar. Thank you, Subbu.
Thank you so much, Ashish ji. We have the privilege of Mr. Mithun Sacheti, founder and CEO of Carrot Lane. His passion for jewelry and diamond drove him up his first store for Jaipur Gems. After overseeing Jaipur Gems expansion into South India, including Chennai and Coimbatore, Mithun headed towards e-commerce. Realizing the huge potential of online retail in India and using his background, experience in jewelry and diamonds, Mithun laid the blueprint for CarrotLane.com. His vision of selling solitaires and diamond jewelry over the internet was shared by a man whose expertise lay in complementing the area. Along with Srinivasa Gopalan, Mithun started CarrotLane.com in 2007, with the site going live in 2008. From then on, it's been a journey crossing milestone after milestone, and he was ably awarded by the Times of India Group as the Next Gen Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2012. Mithun combines jewelry expertise with a passion for jewelry technology. He has ensured that every piece produced for Carrot Lane is manufactured to perfect specifications. When not hobnobbing with diamonds, Mithun is an active badminton and squash player and a complete cricket lover. In July 2016, Carrot Lane joined forces with Tanishq, India's largest and most trusted jewelry brand. This takes us a step closer to our mission, bringing you beautiful jewelry that's affordable and accessible, says Mithun Sacheti. We welcome you, sir, to this fourth of the webinar series, and we hope the participants will get a lot of learning from your presence here today. Our speaker, Mr. Hemant Shah, really needs no introduction. An alumnus of IIT Kanpur, Hemant Shah, after graduation, started his own software consultancy. One of his clients, Mahendra Brothers, was instrumental in his foray in the diamond industry, setting up their jewelry division, Unidesign, both for exports as well as the domestic market. Hemant has been a consultant with various diamond and jewelry companies, specializing in branding, sales, and marketing strategies. He has himself been and has created some of the most creative programs, launching brand Vibrant with a very novel and unique distribution model by the shops on the go or shop on wheels. The other brand is Alcraftist, wherein every collection is based on various arts and crafts. The first collection was based on Doka. Currently also has collections based on very smash crafts. He's currently working as an independent and as a mentor for startups. His latest project is this knowledge sharing and webinar training platform known as Thought Shots. We know Hemant Shah for a long time. He's been associated with the industry and the various associations and has been instrumental in evolving the industry, in witnessing the evolution of the industry. Mr. Hemant Shah, welcome to the webinar series 4, and we do hope your information and education will be of optimum use for the jewelry industry.
Thank you.
We start our webinar series, the fourth in this, with, of course, Mr. Mithun Sacheti, his success stories, his case studies, and how he has built Carrot Lane from ground level up to the skies today that we see. Mr. Sacheti, can you share your experience of migrating from a jewelry house to becoming one of the largest and most known online jewelry business retailer today?
Thank you, first thing, for having me over here and giving me this opportunity, Subbu. And thanks to
Thank you.
Ashish as well. Look forward to an engaging conversation over the next 45 minutes to an hour on this. Frankly, a lot of life happens with luck. And I was very young at that point when I thought that there is an opportunity to build what I did. And it came out of a necessity of the way we are brought up. Borrowing money was not really an option in the family and building a business. And so the next best alternative is that you find a solution which might work for you. And in my case, the solution really was to try and figure out whether, instead of putting money behind which I would borrow to put in inventory, is there a way that we can change the landscape and work with the internet, so that at one area you're trying to get people, a small set of people, to look at large amount of inventory. And in my case was, could you flip it and say a larger set of people looking at a smaller set of inventory?
Yeah.
And whichever way you play it, it's a funnel at the end of the day. And we try our best to make sure that we make it work in our favor as well. So it's been about an 11-year journey where we've just been focused on trying to get this funnel working for us, try and understand it better and better every year, and kind of building on that. I don't know whether I'm doing justice to it, but it's so long back that I don't remember how we started now.
So that's excellent. Continuing with it, was there a fear when you started off?
Oh,
Because in those times, probably the online medium was not as evolved as it was today. So was there a fear to get into a sector which you had never been exposed to or seen before?
Fear is a function of mind, I think. And there's more fear today of failure than there was fear at the point of starting. Because how would it even matter if we failed? If you started and we failed, it wouldn't matter so much. As a family, we tried building this business in the year 2000. My brothers, to be honest, it's my brother's idea that we really got onto the internet and did that. He just was a little before time. We failed then. We came back in 2008-9 and we rebuilt once again from there. And the wisdom of my parents to allow us to still do what we want to do, even if we fail. I think we have a lot of gratitude for that. So I think failure at the age of, in your 20s or late 20s, early 30s is not a big deal at all. You must fail, and it teaches you a lot. At 40, when you're right in between your innings, I mean, you've made 70 runs, and then if you fail and not score a century, I think that feels like a lot of failure at this point. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Right.
so
Absolutely.
I would rather be a Dravid now than be a Sehwag at this point. So
Absolutely.
we'd rather build that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your inputs. Before I come back to you on the ladder of success of Carrot Lane, I go to Mr. Hemant Shah, who's a trainer and an academician who's been in the industry for a long, long time. Mr. Shah, the current state that the jewelry industry is in, you're seeing it all now. The jewelers need to venture into the digital medium. That's what everybody thinks, everybody feels. What is your opinion? Are there challenges? Are there opportunities? What should the jeweler do today?
I am 100% convinced that we need to venture out. And of course, digital is one of the most important things. But when you venture out into anything, I always tell all my customers, my clients, that you need to follow a certain principle. And I call that principle the 50-30-10-9-1 principle. Most people have always told me in my life that don't give 5 numbers, give a maximum of 4. But I could never do that. So for me, the first step is 50% determination.
Yeah.
You need to take a call that you want to do something, whether it is going digital or any other mode that you want. Then the next 30 is preparation and planning. It's most important to first plan and prepare yourself rather than just go straight into execution. And then the next 10 is actually execution. For me, a major part, 9%, which is substantial, is actually about staying motivated and staying convinced that the call you have taken is right and you do everything to make that call be right. And then, of course, the last 1%, which everybody needs, is luck. So once you follow this principle, then only you will succeed in life. That's the beginning of it. Now about going digital. I believe with the way things are going today, there is going to be no choice about going digital. You will have to go digital. You will have to make sure that your business continues in the touch me not era, and the AC era. The after Corona era is going to be a pretty dynamic shift, a shift that has to happen in every way that you conduct and do your business. And I think what is going to be most important now in the future, especially in the digital framework, is how innovative can you get. So this is what I would tell the industry.
Subbu, I'll just like to inform that Mr. Ahmed bin Sulayan,
Okay.
DMCC chairman, has joined us, and he's there with us, and we will like to have his comment also on the digital media. So,
excellent.
Mr. Ahmed, if you can hear us, can you please?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
How are you, sir? Good evening.
I'm very good. Good to see the big turnout here on this webinar. One of the reasons that DMCC was able to stay in touch with our members and be able to adapt and ensure the key messages and webinars are in place is that we invested a lot on the digital marketing, Google Analytics, and we're aware that technology is going to change. But a few months ago, before Corona, it wasn't an ultra urgent matter. And plus, there are challenges with it because if we're talking about, I'll give you a few examples. I mean, if you're going to talk about digital jewelry and digital marketing, then you're going to talk about 3D printing, manufacturing. You have top designers designing jewelry at one place and printing it at another or the same place. We do expect even mining organizations that are going to mine the diamonds, have it also going through the process of boiling and cutting all in the same area, and you'll see African countries just exporting polished diamonds, but that's a long way from today, 5 to 10 years. But jewelers are already jumping on that. So if you look at the Dubai Design Academy, the courses are still going. It's online, it's from home. The name doesn't really escape me. I just don't know it by heart. There's a jeweler in Barcelona that's been there for a while. It is on my Instagram post and all that. And we showed them the digital side and the training, and he was interested. He's been in this change is going to happen. Today, you have an excuse. You know, the less people in one room, the less likely something can be contagious and all that. Even if there is a vaccine for the corona, even if there's treatment, the psychological impact on people and keeping others at a safe distance will stick for a while now. So there is a health need for it in addition to efficiency and all that. And we're still learning. The focus will be a lot on that, because people who look for a job will also think about the most important asset, their health, and also save time. We do expect businesses around the world to focus more on local production as it was, but I really don't see the big shift to like making it 90 or 100%. We are in an interconnected world, whether it's about data, jewelry, or other trades. There has been a knock-on effect. There has been a domino effect with the oil and gas, and recently the commodities businesses as well that has impacted. But the measures will be things will get adjusted, and life will move on. No, it's important to have that aspect of digital manufacturing and digital jewelry design. It's important. There's no chance that I'm taking off the digital side of DMCC's marketing and businesses. We've announced recently that we're going to roll out the 5G technology in JLT and DMCC. That is not just about speed of data transfer. That has to do with a lot of things: security, monitoring, providing facilities to our own members. We also have signed an agreement, I've signed up with the Crypto Valley in Davos. These, if they were not on a high priority then, they are vital right now for our survival and our members.
Absolutely, Mr. Ahmed. You know, your insights have been really, really helpful to us, and we thank you so much for having been present for this webinar, which you are the driver of the digital world, you know, as you have driven the various other concepts and projects. We thank you very much for being here, Mr. Ashish.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate
the
it.
support and all
Thank you.
you have been supporting our webinars. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Mithun, we've heard from Mr. Shah about how should be the behavior of the jewelry sector now because of COVID, and you have told us what did you do when you migrated from being a jeweler to an online retailer. We would like to put some more fact into this. In a space dominated by malls, physical shopping, how effective will online retailing be, especially in a place like Dubai or the GCC region, because the region, thrives majorly on the tourist business, as well as people who come into the malls or the stores to buy physical jewelry. The look and feel factor works there. What's your opinion?
I don't claim to be an expert at GCC. I have very little knowledge. I'm sure many more people will be able to advise, but I just do feel that consumer behavior is not very different everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were to think about the purchase behavior, the first piece is the discovery piece. And malls were basically an intermediary between standalone stores. After standalone stores came up malls. After malls has come up digital as well also. And if you look at malls themselves and look at America, the onslaught of digital has hurt it'll never hurt tier one mall. Tier one mall always does very well, but it really does hurt tier two, tier three malls on that. Because the process of discovery is played very well by mall stores. You love going to a mall, you walk around, you kind of browse and do all of that. Now that's moved into your house. You're browsing on Instagram, you're browsing on Facebook. You put up statistics earlier about how people are browsing as well. And 9 out of 10 Arabs are browsing on the internet is what you've written, or browsing on a social media platform on a daily basis. You wrote about that. So I don't see that changing anywhere else as well also. So if you were to think of the business as a funnel, the top of the funnel now belongs to digital. So the whole piece of discovery and everything happens over there. Put yourself, I'll give you an evolved state. Jewelry is still evolving. An evolved business will be mobile phones. When you think about mobile phones, you walk into a store today knowing very well that you are going in there because you want to buy an Android or an iPhone. You don't walk into the store to discover what phone should I buy. You've done all the homework on digital at home, family around you is giving you information, and that's when you go in to figure out. Under Android, you might choose one or two models. In iPhone, you might choose one or two models, but you kind of you have a preconceived idea of what you want to buy. That doesn't happen in jewelry yet. We don't own discovery yet, right? And so once discovery starts getting owned at your house and desire is built in your house, there's no doubt the same thing will happen here. And I say digital is that much more important because if you don't embrace discovery, we will always struggle with other categories. Forget jeweler versus jeweler. You'll struggle with jewelry versus every other category where discretionary spends do happen as well also.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Mr. Shah, taking a cue from this, most of the jewelers today, they want to go online. They want to set up their shop online. They want to do e-commerce. But there is definitely a lack of education amongst the many. They want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. Costs are really imperative. They're at this point of time, can they manage the costs of investment in an online business platform? What is your opinion to those jewelers who would want to go online, want to set up an e-commerce site, but are not able to do it because of 1, 2, 3, 4 fear factors? What is your suggestion as well as opinion on this?
There are obvious things that one requires and which I will not really more than touch up on when I talk here, because 45 minutes is not enough to explain all of this. And if Mithun has to sit down and explain it, he's probably going to require a week. Even somebody like me would require a day. But we need to understand certain things which pertain to our business. And to do this, I am going to point out certain factors which can become very critical and helpful when you digitalize yourself. The first thing is, I believe you need to create a differentiator from the offline market. Most of the time, people just take the business model they are doing in a brick and mortar store and put it onto a digital platform. That doesn't always work. And the product, not only the product needs to be different, but you have to understand that your target audience is completely different from what it was originally.
So you mean to say that a store owner cannot pick up his products and put it online? It's not as easy as that.
It's not easy as that. There has to be other things. Just like you create a showstopper when you are in a show, or you create a window with just something exclusive. You don't expect to just sell that, but that is the reason why people will come to you. Okay. So, and all this new product and whatever you do, you have to make sure that you're continuously studying the profile of your consumers in different demographics. Okay. So when you are like, one of the things online is going to help most is actually going to B and C towns where all the product is not always available. Okay. Now, the choice of the designs of the product in a rural area for people who are going to buy online and an urban area or the major cities who are going to buy online is going to be vastly different. So you need to study the profile of your customers and come up with what is going to happen. Another very important factor in jewelry especially is the trust factor. Yeah. Most people in jewelry are looking for a shop, a vendor who is going to give them the confidence and satisfaction that they require. Yeah. Now, this becomes a tremendous task when you are going to talk of digital. I think one of the main things to do is to make sure that your website or whatever else that you do, there is a provision for the customer to connect with you via a chat, which is the lowest of the categories, I would say, but if possible by a video call and talk to somebody who is responsible enough within your organization to be able to address the questions that that person might have. And this trust factor is not going anywhere from the jewelry trade. So you have to be sure that there is a way by which you are continuously communicating and creating windows by which the customer is going to connect with you. This will go a long way into giving the satisfaction and assurance that a jewelry buyer needs. The third thing I would talk of is personalization. There are systems available by which you will be able to personalize and address the person by name very easily when he calls you up or video chats you or does anything. Okay. So one important part of digitalization is going to be also this. So these are the three things. Everything else we are going to do. We are going to create a website. We are going to create a catalog. All of that is going to happen.
The Marcom activity, the marketing and communication, etc., etc.
All that is going to happen. But these are the three main things when it comes specifically to jewelry business. And then, of course, one thing that I believe in is that you have to keep innovating in everything we do. But I'll talk about that a little later.
Okay. Now, taking a cue from this, Mr. Shah, I would like to ask you that a single shop owner or probably a 4-store owner in a Gold Souk area or a Bardubai area. Now, if he wants to go online, if he wants to set up an e-commerce site, he does not have any specialist to guide him. He does not have any IT person in his office. And in this period and time, he's also short of funds. So what's your take on this? I'm talking for maximum number of jewelers who are in the area in Bardubai and who would want to go up the ladder, the second ladder, the second step.
Not only would they want to, I think in today's times they will need to also. So yes, it's a very important thing. And I think that question is going to help them a lot. So let me answer that. The first thing is that it is not very expensive to create a website. There are plenty of tools available. It depends on what your goal is. Once you have set up your target, there are plenty of options available. If you don't want to make a big initial investment, you can use Shopify or one of those platforms to create your website. There are people who do a SaaS model for your online presence. You can use one of that. So it's not that you have to make a down payment of a huge amount of money, so to say. But what you need to do is to introduce things that will differentiate you from the others. Because let's understand one thing, everybody is going to go online now. What you will need to do is also create a differentiation. Okay? And online differentiations are actually very easy to do. Let me give you an example of one of the customers I consult with. As you mentioned, they have 4 shops. They are on the West Coast in the US. And naturally, because of the COVID and the West Coast was the first one to be really shut down, they were really worried about what's going to happen to the business. And we came up with a plan. We said they had a very good website already existing. So we urgently introduced AR, augmented reality, on their website so that people visiting it can get a look at how that jewelry is going to look on them. And we created a whole scheme which lasted all during the close down, is that you can select 6 pieces out of the jewelry and select one of the 4 stores to which you would like to go. Now, going to the 4 stores is going to be a challenge for some people who don't want to go into unknown geographies, so to say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what we did is that at each of the stores, all these places, see, you may not be able to do it anywhere or everywhere in India because of challenges in parking your car and various things. But all these the stores that they had were not in malls, but they were in the smaller shopping areas where parking was never an issue. So we created a trolley with a huge mirror and a sanitized box in front in which the jewelry pieces would be put after cleaning so that nobody touches it. You don't get out of your car. You go to your car. The person will come to your car, show you the jewelry. You try it on. There is a mirror for you to look at it. And if you want to pay, that person will give you the card machine and you will pay and go away without entering the store.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Now, the results that we got were even better. During the lockout, they had more than an average of 35 people per day coming to the store. And their average sale was more than 5 pieces per day per store.
Wow. That's fantastic.
That is, so this is what you will need to do. See, today, everybody...
This model can be replicated in a place like Dubai or Abu Dhabi.
Or yes, in Dubai or something, it can be replicated. As I said, in India, it could be quite a challenge. We all know how parking is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but this is the kind of things that I advise my clients to do, is to go out and do something that is really different and which will be beneficial to the customer. So no innovation is good if it doesn't help the customer.
Absolutely.
As simple as that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Shah. I think this point of yours that building a website or developing a web business is not expensive.
Yes.
is really soothing to the ears, and it's really a must, an important factor for all the jewelers there, who always feel that it's very, very expensive.
No, I can assure you it is not. Anybody who wants, they can connect with me, and I will put them into touch with people who are developing these things at really a very, very inexpensive manner.
That's, I think, one of the best takeaways from this point. Getting on to the step 3, after we feel that it's not expensive, after we feel that the jewelry sector can all get into online business, they can have their own e-commerce website. Mr. Sacheti, Mr. Mithun, what is your opinion on startup, on diversifying or on expanding the physical business into an online business? How do you think the banks will help them, or how do you think the alternative financing will help them, or will there be angel funders for them? Because there are a number of jewelers who have, who have decided to go online, who have decided to venture into e-commerce. But then, what is the role of funding behind this entire dream of the jewelers?
Funding happens normally so let's talk about different kinds of funding. Venture capitalists fund a business, or angel investors fund a business when you are one of the early guys doing that business, either in geography or by the nature of business that you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something which has already now been done for the last 10 years in the same manner, I think that is an unfair expectation that you'll get any VC or angel help on that part.
Right.
Today, anybody doing this is doing it because the market is developing. They're coming to participate in a market. Yeah. There's already enough action happening in the market as well. And why should I not get a piece of it as well also? So established consumer behaviors and brands are there. You can come and be a part of it as well. And so I don't see any role for VCs or angel investment. Banks invest only against inventory largely, or if you want to take a collateral and give it to them, they'll invest in that. They're generally wary of the jewelry business. And so I think that's another area you can't expect much help from. The job of building a business or a website is an easy job. It's the day one job, basically. It's like getting prepared for the race. The difficult part is running the 100-meter race. And after that 100-meter race is to prepare that you're going to now continue running this like a marathon after that. Absolutely. So those are the two difficult parts of the race, which are very, very difficult. And that's the part that you have to brace yourself for. Metrics, etc. All of this will come later on. First, you got to know why are you in the business as well also. What is that product that you bring to the table, which the consumer is otherwise not able to find? And if you strongly believe in your product, then every reason why you should be doing a lot more of. There is only a reason why a couple of brands from India has maybe 1 million brands for idli dosa, but only a couple of them actually come up and open in Dubai or go to America or go various places and do that because they first sorted their product out. True. And so ultimately, we must remember that we are in the jewelry business, and technology and marketing both come to aid the discovery of the jewelry that we are making out there as well also. So we should not mistake the channel to be the business. The channel is only a medium. And it's very important to understand that part of it and not build a business basis of a channel. That time is gone now. But there is definitely enough space and scope for more people to build more beautiful jewelry for the right audience, which one might identify with, and go out there and create a larger market as well.
Thank you so much for this point. Mr. Hemant Shah had made a point in his comment that the jewelry that is available in a physical store cannot be really or cannot ideally fit into the online or e-commerce website. With the CaratLane experience, what is your thought on this? Because you also manufacture, you also do e-commerce, you put your products online, you have designers designing the product. So how does it fit in? Can I just put my jewelry, which is available in the store, online and see that it sells to the consumers, or wait for the consumers?
Yeah, I mean, you have to find the customer for who it's right. I don't necessarily agree that the jewelry which is in the retail store is not ready for online. It might have its, you can say that the consumer who's today buying online might not be wanting to buy a certain kind of jewelry. And if your store does not have that kind of jewelry, you can source that kind of jewelry and come back as well to the market with it. So my professor at GI used to say, if there's a fool who designed a piece of jewelry and another fool who made it, there's a third fool who'll buy it as well. So it's our job to go out there and find that guy who'll buy that piece as well.
Absolutely.
So we just have to marry the thing, as he spoke rightly about earlier, that you have to find the right audience for what you're creating.
True.
And if your jewelry is not suited for the medium, then of course it's a problem in itself. But that problem will be for some people, not for everybody. And so it's important to kind of identify that you're targeting the right segment for the right product that you're going after, because then the probability of success is more in your favor than against it.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Mr. Shah, coming back to you, an important point that every jeweler has in his mind is copyright. When he puts his jewelry design online or an e-commerce website, what about the design that he's putting in? He's really scared to put his designs online. He's really scared to put his designs on social media. What's your take on this?
I'm quite the opposite of how the jewelry industry thinks.
All right.
If I'm developing a concept, I might want that concept to be registered, patented, protected in some way. But every design, I don't think so. Okay. The challenge is how you design and how often do you design. So normally what I believe is that there is always an advantage for the first runner. Once you have created a design, let others copy it. I personally don't. In fact, very often I post my designs. Okay. In fact, just last Sunday, I have created a unique product for Mother's Day, which I posted on WhatsApp and to so many people all around. Okay. I'm not worried somebody is going to copy it.
Yeah.
Because I know that I am going to continuously work to come out with something that is new, something that is different.
Absolutely.
And even in the little jewelry that I do, I don't have that challenge. All the jewelry I do is actually fashion jewelry. Yeah. In the sense that all my jewelry is based on various Indian crafts. So I have a collection based on Dokra craft. I have a collection based on the Bidri craft. I have a collection based on the paper mache craft. We are currently working with wood carving and Tarakashi. So
Yeah.
my product is different. But as I was talking to some people just 2 days back, is that for me, from decision of a craft to market is nothing less than 12, sometimes 18 months. Okay, because most of the designers that we work with are not aware of the capabilities of the craft. Until they do not understand how that craft works and how the craft can be tweaked to get the kind of product, they can't start designing. So that's the first thing. So I am never worried about patenting designs. I always believe that you have to keep coming up with new stuff. There are always people who are going to copy. Online, I'm telling you, I have been to shows where I have seen designers carrying cameras and taking photographs in the showcase.
So you mean to say that the jewelers need not really worry about their designs and they can blatantly put it on any e-commerce site?
Absolutely. I definitely believe that. I would like to hear Mithun's.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Maybe we'll get a different perspective from Mr. Mithun
Yes.
On the design, copyright, and the fear factor that the jewelers have before getting online.
Okay, I'm going to break copyright into a couple of things. Copyright, patent, both subject into a couple of things. You do something different, you have a right to defend it.
True.
You don't do something different, you don't have a right to defend it. It's amazing how we obsess about the wrong things in life. You know how many people in India, I talk about India a little bit because I understand India and obviously I'm alien to GCC. How many people in India buy diamond jewelry, 2 lakh rupees and above in a year? And that's where the copyright issue comes a lot as well also.
Okay.
Can you take a guess as to how many people buy? Hemant bhai, any guesses?
No, really no.
7 lakh people buy in a year.
Okay.
That's all. In a 130 crore population, 7 lakh people buy. And then what is the problem we are solving there? We are still obsessed about solving the design problem. Actually, the problem to solve is the access problem.
Yes.
We should be worried about that because 1 crore Indians are buying cars above 5 lakh rupees, but 7 lakh Indians are buying jewelry above 2 lakh rupees. There's a complete mismatch in the two things altogether. So the problem that we obsess about is also very, very important. And design is really not a problem to obsess about because the aim of any design is that if it has an inherent value in it, you will build it better than somebody else. If it does not have an inherent value and it is only aesthetic value in that, then please be wary of, I mean, that's fashion. You're creating trend and other people will copy you for that part of it. You will have, you can make a signature out of it, but somebody else will copy you and do exactly the same thing. At CaratLane, I know I faced it so many times. We have a butterfly collection, which has possibly done 100 crores of business for us in a 12-piece design. But I see the same product with exactly same names in Amazon also, in my competitors also, and everybody else. And it's okay. That's life. I mean, we move on to build new things after that and figure other things out as well. But we have nothing to defend in that. We have not built a product in which we can say that I have a manufacturing technique which somebody sneaked in and kind of discovered from my office and then went out and built on that as well. All I built was an aesthetic color. That's about it. Nothing beyond that. So I really don't think, I think I come from a family of jewelers and we obsess too much about copyright. We should obsess more about the customer and access.
That's wonderful.
I couldn't
In
agree
fact,
more.
this was a very, very bold statement by, Mr. Mithun. And we really thank you for that. This probably would have let down most of the fears of the jewelers who are really wanting to get online. Our first question here from one of the participants is to Mr. Mithun again. What are the thoughts regarding 9 to 5 silver jewelry after lockdown and getting into online business? Would you like to answer this? Your thoughts on
Sure.
9 to 5 silver jewelry?
Look, I myself am a fan of that business. We are building a brand by the name of Shaya. And I do believe that silver jewelry has, basically adornment has a very large future. And adornment will mean that people find ability to wear jewelry in different ways, whether it's fashion jewelry, whether it is silver jewelry, whether it is rental jewelry. All of this allows access. And I'm a huge fan of all three of those businesses. And I think that, including CVDs for that matter, anything that brings value to the customer is something that excites me. And I feel that customer has always paid back on things which excite him and have, we provide differentiation across to customers. Look at color stones. Synthetic color stones have done very well for businesses as well. Yeah.
So just to continue this, have you started lab-grown diamonds in your jewelry range with Carrot Lane?
No,
Have you
I
started?
have not started, and I have a very fundamental reason for it as well. Also, saying that I fought one battle, which is a channel battle in India. I'm 40
Right.
years old now. I can't
Yeah.
fight another battle in life to build a startup on something like that. So, I don't, I'll rather be the number two, number three player in that than be the number one guy on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this was
But
a
I
very
do feel
personal
that people
question.
should do it.
Absolutely,
Mithun,
absolutely.
Mithun,
Mr.
I
Shah,
don't
there is
agree with that at all. I am a grape pruner. I'm starting new stuff now at 65.
right.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Ashish ji, are you listening? The lab grown is getting online now.
I live in Chennai, so I'm a content guy.
Okay. There is one question, Mr. Shah. This is for you. Do you think online payments like credit card or online payments limit high value sales when it comes to online business?
No, I don't think so. In fact, the way the world and even in India things are moving, uh, it's now not about really cash payments. There isn't that much cash floating around anymore. I hope so, but I don't think that's a challenge. And if it does become a challenge, I think there are plenty of other ways by which the problem can be solved. I think let's talk of Mithun. Mithun, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you had at one stage offered to deliver product to people at their home, and you have now got some stores so that people, maybe the more important part is the touch and feel of jewelry that is really required. But I think there are plenty of ways. In fact, I know in Bombay, at least the fashion designers, when my son's and daughter's wedding was there, they sent people home with the credit card machine to deliver and take the payment. My car company does that. Every time my car goes for repairs or service, I don't send the money to them. They send the driver to return the car with the card machine. So there are plenty of ways of going around it, even if you don't want to do it on the net.
Also, you don't even need to send a machine anymore, right? You can send a payref
Yeah,
link to people as well.
absolutely.
And do that. So I don't think there is I think the problem in high value lies in being very sure about the decision that the customer is making. That's where he has a problem. He doesn't have a problem in the payment itself because that comes afterwards. The manifestation of his problem might happen in the words of payment, but the underlying truth behind it is that can I make a decision like this without being 100% sure is the point that he's trying to solve in his mind. So our business's role is to make sure we solve everything for that aspect. So try at home is a very, very large part of Carrot Lane's business. We still do that, and we have that across 8 cities. And so is Carrot Lane Live, which was born in COVID times, basically, which is where you can do video chats with stores and be able to try things on and take things forward as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And one of the largest jeweler from the GCC region, who also has a pretty good online business, has posted a question for Mr. Mithun. Should we focus more on the technical aspect of jewelry products rather than sell it with an emotion when it comes to online business? Now, this is a very interesting question because jewelry normally is sold with an emotion. But when it comes to online business, should we sell it on a technical strength of the portal or the jewelry? I think this question is very, very interesting. Mr. Mithun.
Actually, there is no one answer for it because there are those customers. And if you were to do customer profiling, you'll find customers very early on that they are very technically inclined. And that is the early adopter in the business.
Yeah.
But the real scale of the business lies in the emotional customer.
Absolutely.
And so you might start off early enough with technical customers, so which is why for us, Solitaire was the easy product to start with. We started selling Solitaire because it's such a technical product. You have the 4 C's laid out, you have certificates laid out, very, very easy to sell. I'll give you a sense. The most expensive piece of jewelry we sell is possibly 2 lakh rupees every month, but we'll sell Solitaires worth 50, 60 lakh rupees very, very easily multiple times in the month without a problem at all. Customers we've never seen, we never speak to, and they'll be buying online because technical sales can increase ASPs, but scale only comes from emotional value in the jewelry business because that's why you buy jewelry, not for technical reasons.
Continuing with this, one more question here which has popped up is, what is the ratio of engagement rings sold through Carrot Lane, especially in an economy like India? And Mr. Shah can add on to the sale of engagement rings probably in an economy like GCC region. Mr. Mithun, if you can given India perspective to engagement rings?
I can't specifically speak about CaratLane, but I would tell you that engagement ring is a growing market in India. It's still a very, very small market in India. There's engagement ring, which is separate. There's wedding bands, which is separate. And then there is everyday jewelry, which is separate. These are the three spaces as such. It'll be less than a quarter of the business in terms of size for engagement ring and wedding bands both together. Because if it was larger than that, it would take away competitive advantages also. One must keep in mind that you build a business for what you aspire. I aspire margin, and margin doesn't come from wedding bands and engagement rings. It comes from jewelry by itself. So, whereas if you look at Blue Nile, they operate 80% on 70% on engagement rings and wedding bands. And so there, the model is different as well.
Mr. Shah, continuing with this question for you, would engagement rings, online engagement rings, work in a region like GCC? And there is one more point that is given is, would lower end products run in the GCC region when it comes to online, or high end products would do excellently well?
Let me first give you an example of something we did 2 weeks back. This is again with the same company in the US that I was talking of. There was a person who selected 6 engagement rings from their website and went to check it out, but he wanted to show them to his fiance, and his fiance was not in the same town. What we did is we organized a date for them.
Okay.
We had a bottle of champagne delivered to both their houses.
Okay.
And we got them on Zoom, and we got them to see that we got the guy to show all the 6 rings to his fiance.
Okay.
To select one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only one such case, but I just want to tell you where the opportunity lies and what can be done.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, coming to selling engagement rings, yes, it can be sold. I believe there are plenty of people who buy engagement rings online.
Yeah.
Because that gives an opportunity for the couple. See, if they go to a shop and buy it and then they're searching for it at home, I think there is a difference in the atmosphere and whatever else. So even if they don't buy online, they definitely research online together.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, that opportunity lies everywhere. I think it's going to become a global opportunity now. Okay. As far as talking of cheaper products or more expensive products is concerned, first of all, I don't think there are any cheap products in jewelry. There are budget items, there are less expensive items. But every piece of jewelry is precious. Whether it is silver and CZ or gold and diamond or platinum and diamond, I first believe that every piece of jewelry is precious because it fulfills an emotional need and it helps to enhance a woman's image or a man's image. Okay, so that's how I look at jewelry. As far as what can be sold, yes, as Mithun said, his upper limit is 200,000 rupees, but he sells plenty of solitaires.
Okay.
So that's where that technical aspect comes in. Okay, in the sense that a solitaire, thanks to GIA and thanks to the other labs that are there, have managed to specify the quality.
Yeah.
Therefore, a price to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So of course, this is going to be the easier thing. I work with a lab-grown diamond company. Okay, again in the US, and the lab-grown diamond company is absolutely offering everything online. And the kind of customers that they have are actually people who would prefer to buy it online.
Right.
So it all depends on your customer profile. It all depends on this thing. You can easily sell an expensive piece. Okay, it's not difficult. But
absolutely,
as I said, you're going to have to use a lot of technology that is going to facilitate that sale. Augmented reality, artificial intelligence. How will you make sure that that person gets a good 3D effect and everything of the product? And then at the end of the day, maybe what Mithun is doing, try it at home.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the way it will work. And when it comes to actually digital selling, I believe that as far as the jeweler is concerned, it has to be more about an attitude and a direction rather than just technology.
True.
Technology is just a tool to get you where you want to go. And I think everybody should realize this. It's not just about technology. It's about attitude. You need to build an attitude. And therefore your website and everything else. Actually, the best thing about jewelry is that you don't have to wait for the customer to come into your store to tell them the story of a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Do Instagram, do Pinterest, do Facebook. That gives you an opportunity to tell your story all the time. And at the end of the day, the story is the important part.
In fact, through these mediums, the story can be told better.
Better, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Shah. There's one important question for Mr. Mithun from Hardik Shah. What is your take on selling precious gemstone jewelry? As majority of CaratLane products are gold and diamond. So what is your take on selling gemstone jewelry, Mr. Mithun?
I think it's a function of scale, right? And I don't see any reason why gemstone jewelry should not be sold.
Yeah.
When you start off, let me explain how I built the business as well. The jewelry category is a 3 lakh crore category, and I didn't see any value in being present in everything. So we started at that point with a 4,000 crore market. So we said solitaire business is a 4,000 crore market. That's where we are starting out. Then we decided that after that, for everyday bread and butter, we also need everyday jewelry to sell, because in the long run, margin comes from there. There was hardly any market that time. Jilly was just about faltering. And all those stores, Jilly, Nirvana, etc., which used to be in LFS format, in Shoppers Stop, etc., were kind of, around but not around sort of thing going on at that point. So we saw an empty space over there, and we sized the market. We thought it's about a 6,000 crore market at that point. So we said, okay, great. We're in a 10,000 crore market. Then we decided, okay, 50,000 to 1 lakh is a great market. Let's look at that. And how big is that market as well? We assume that that's another 20,000 crore market as well that we're going after. So we build ourselves piece by piece, saying that every time we get a couple percentage points in each of these, we'll add the next category. And that's how we go about it. So in our assumption, the gemstone market, which is, leave aside the high value market, which, the big boys of Jaipur play, and something which is not for us, is in our estimate is a 2,000 to 2,500 crore market right now. So it has not been a high priority for us, because we were looking at 5,000 crores and above sort of marketplaces to do that part. Second, we didn't have inherent sufficient knowledge about it. The supply chain was not right for us. We've tried it a couple of times, and we felt that we don't have it all right. We are not sure that we can guarantee customer that it's a genuine gemstone or not. All of those issues were coming in the way every single time we tried to approach it as well. So we were not able to build that out. So today we play in about a 15 to 18,000 crore market of the entire jewelry business. That's where we are operating in. Our aim is that what else can we do to take it up to 40,000 crores over the next couple of years as market size? And then in that, what share can we take? That's effectively how we think about it. So the 2,000 will happen. If you have an idea or a product or a supply chain that you'd love to work with us, please call me, and I'm happy to take it forward.
True. One question that comes in every jewelry member's mind is, how long did it take you to make your project or your concept profitable? If you want to share that.
It happened only now. So it took me 11 years. And it's because I had tons and tons of ability to make mistake, because of when you're market making, you have that luxury, because you can raise VC capital and do that part. But I'll also tell you that, so we grew 60% last year, right? You grow 60% because you invest ahead of market for 2 years or 3 years at least ahead on that part. So it's a choice we made. It's the way we wanted to live our life, and we did that. The family already had a sufficiently large business in the name of Jaipur Gems. So we did not have to worry really about cash flow at that point or do anything else. So with that view, when you're market making or habit changing, you have to be prepared that the gestation period is going to be long enough, and you fight your battle from that.
Even in these times, the gestation period would be close to 10 years?
Actually, I don't think so, because I don't think, so if you look at just the online business right now, I haven't seen a better time than this, where the cost of acquisition is significantly lower. People are now just shopping online because there's not many other options available. So all of those things are like fabulous at this point. But how long will this last, right? The stores will open and the malls will open and all of that will happen. And scale comes from there as well also. So I don't believe that, I mean, I have no doubt that we made tons and tons of mistakes. If we were to build it in a straight line manner, I have no doubt that in 2.5 years, one can build a profitable business. To tell you the truth, we were profitable for the first 2.5 years. It's when we raised capital from VCs, we became unprofitable.
Yes. Because you tend to reinvest the entire, and then you have your own various concept lines.
Actually not. Money is the biggest corrupting agent in people's lives. Yeah.
Very
whatever you look at in life that goes wrong with you is for people who actually have either a money problem or a money advantage. Both ways, it creates a problem in itself. So in our case, it was nothing other than, okay, take 10 bets instead of taking 2 bets. And that basically was the corrupting problem in our life.
Yeah. Absolutely. One last point: can AR help add touch and feel to online jewelry retail, and how much?
In my view, AR will add value. There are various technologies at various stages. AR and VR, both of them today are very, very nascent. They don't help you. Ultimately, anything has to help you make a buying decision. I don't feel both these technologies are anywhere today near helping you make a buying decision. Today, they have gimmick value, but it's a matter of time that somebody is going to get smarter with it and do that. Apple's provided Apple Lens already on the phones, and I think that another maybe 2 years and we're going to see value in AR being able to give you real-time visibility. The metallic nature of a product right now is coming in the way of it.
We have Mr. Narendra Motwani, the head of e-commerce Malabar Group. Mr. Motwani, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Sabu. How are you? Hello, everyone. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Mr.
Let's go on.
Welcome to the panel.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Motwani, would you like to say something?
Yes, I was going. I was hearing the conversation between Hemanji and the Mithun. I think a lot of point. What is actually we are also going through has come up in this forum. As rightly said about the things will change. Pre-COVID and the post-COVID are definitely both are the different scenario and the situation. Wherein what we've seen is that in the pre-COVID era, people used to know, especially if I talk about UAE market, the GCC, we have close to 60 stores. So when we do any kind of digital marketing and all, we want people to come online to purchase. For them, the offline was a better medium because for them, Friday is the day when you go out, you do the shopping, you go out to the venture out to the mall. That's the day when you spend with your family. So for them, the shopping was a kind of an activity. Not now in the COVID situation and the post-COVID situation, what we understand is that shopping, going out, is not the kind of an activity for the people. So people are definitely venturing on the online. Our searches has increased tremendously. What we've seen is that the people are buying a lot, especially when all the markets, right from the India to the GCC markets. Since the when used to buy jewelry, especially when there's need and the wish, right? So that if you look at that, there is a need for certain when at a time of increasing the gold price, the need the people have wanted to book their gold. They wanted to ensure that okay they're booking it right when there is something near to them. So earlier now when you look at the COVID, the gold price is going up continuously. That is where people wanted to book everything online. So that is what we've seen as a huge growth has come online as compared to what it was earlier. And also the cost per acquisition. The cost per acquisition has tremendously gone on because the market is no competition, right? People are not having a money to spend. They're not spending. They're going low on the spending because the stores are not there for a lot of other companies. The cost per acquisition, the entire marketing has gone down. So what we've seen is that it is good. People are venturing in online, and especially the brands which are very well known in the offline segment, who are the legacy brands or the people whom they trust a lot. For them, it is a very easy. The people find them going on buying from their website is very easy. And especially what we've seen is that post-COVID, the average value of a transaction has grown at least by the 50%. So you are not only in terms of.
In fact, your point of brands being sold online is really very interesting because I would like to bring in Mr. Hemant Shah here. Mr. Shah, Mr. Motwani's suggestion of brands work with in online or e-commerce market. Is it? What's your opinion on this? Does brand work better in an online platform?
Yes, take Tiffany for example.
Yeah.
I think that is the best example of where a brand has made very, very strong inroads onto the online market.
Yeah.
But what I think we should all remember is that if we want to do digital, we need to go out and act boldly.
Boldly. Yes.
What I mean is, I don't know, let me give you, it's not about applying lipstick on your lips.
Yeah.
That's not going to make you pretty enough. You need
Yeah.
to become pretty completely. So
Absolutely.
you don't just do a digital lipstick on your exercise of going on the net or going digital, but you need to do a full-fledged makeup. Okay, and there are a lot of things that you will need to do for this. What I would seriously suggest to everybody is, and something that I believe the jewelry industry doesn't do too much, is actually to take the help of experts. Even when you're communicating your story on any social media, get an expert to write down the words for you. Get an expert to tell you how to do it. It's an expense that is going to give you rich dividends of working with experts in various fields.
Absolutely. With respect to the Gulf and the GCC region or Dubai, for example, there is one question that I would like to put forward to you. Is the e-commerce platform of Malabar Group successful because of the brand or because of the products or the design or the offers that you're giving? Does brand play a role? If you
Yes,
can be a
definitely.
little quick about it so that we can move on to the next questions.
Yes, it's definitely for the brand, like the e-commerce of a Malabar Group is because of its brand. Definitely, it is because of the brand value, what we have in offline, the kind of a design. See, we have to also understand the why the brand is known. The brand is known for its design. So wherever market we go, in whichever stores we open, we always ensure that we reaches our designs matches the personal, like the local flavor. So if today if we have a stores in the Mumbai, the designs will change as compared to the stores in the Bangalore. The designs will change as when you are in the Vizag. So every market has its own design, and that's what a success. And along with the the design, we also see the brand trust and the stability. So a stability in terms of the like the brand is opening up, is on a growing mode. Always expanding the consumer base. We are trying to acquire a different kind of customers. We are able to serve the customer differently, based on the there is preference in terms of the design, the value what we pass on in terms of the price of the product, and the whatever, like if there's a marriage,
So it's everything put together. It's a 360
everything
degree.
put together, yes. And whatever we have it, and that's what we replicate in online. So what we understand is that people who are a Malabar customer, they have experienced us at a store. Definitely, we are acquiring a new customer also. But those people who already have experienced Malabar at offline, and they know how the Malabar works in terms of the design, the trust, the promise what Malabar gives. So they all know. So it becomes
This is a beautiful takeaway from here. The trust with a jeweler works the same whether he's online
or offline. Yes.
That's beautiful. So there is one important question. Thank you so much, Mr. Motwani. There's one important question here from Gautam Ghana Singh for Mr. Mithun. What about logistics support for after sales? Would you like to take this?
Gautam, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. If there is logistics support for after sales, I mean, one has to do that. It's a cost of doing business. But like there is two-way shipping available, so it's not really a problem. At least not a problem in the top 3,000 towns across India. Beyond that, of course, it's a challenge. But I think it has a fairly wide coverage already available in India. If your question was for GCC, I'm sure they're even more advanced, and you can just travel, hop, skip, and jump over there. So
why do customers buy online? Is it because of the gold, precious stones, gemstones, design, or brand value, which is important?
There are different audiences which buy for different reasons online. The men buy because it's just easier for them to ask all the stupid questions, all the questions which they feel are stupid when they walk into a store. So it makes it that much easier for them to buy. So that's what we've come across most times. And men like to ask a lot of technical questions, and they get away with that by asking questions online. It's easy for them. Long tail discovery is another reason why people buy jewelry online. So if you want to look for a particular thing and you're not sure whether you'll get it in your nearby store, it helps you to buy that online. It's very similar to buying a certain thing in Amazon, which you'll find it, but your next door shop might not have it. And
Yeah.
so that long tail is another reason why people buy online. Gold purity and diamond purity, I don't see any reason why people buy it online or offline. It's the same. They have to trust the brand to be able to transact with the brand. And I don't think there's a problem of that for that online solves specifically as such. Third is discovery. To be able to discover a large range of products in the price band or the segments that online really caters to, they tend to get a reasonably good sense of choice, which is sort of hard to find in pure retail these days. Retail has generally obsessed about selling higher value. And if you look at the average higher value in a retail store, it's anywhere between 60 to 80,000 rupees in India, whereas online is at about 15,000. So it brings in a whole new set of customers. So I think that's the part that, in my opinion, those are the reasons why consumers like to buy online.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Ashish Garg would like to come in now.
Thanks, Abhi. Nitin bhai, this is one question I wanted to bring in from the supply side. Supply or the supply chain is a very important part of, I think, any online business. And what role do you think a supplier partner can play with our online partner to seamlessly link together and bring value to your table?
One of the beauty of an online business is scale. And scale can only be delivered if you have a very robust supply chain. And thus, there is a very, very large role both in terms of width as well as depth of a catalog, which a supply side plays on any jewelry platform. What might not seem apparent to them is that without them, really the front end doesn't work. And so it's very, very important to have very deep relationships with supply chain while trying to build any sort of digital presence and have tech-enabled backend so that you're able to reduce the time that it takes from a customer placing an order to bring jewelry back to life. So choosing partners who are able to provide you that level of service and have that level of integration with your own will always help to, because the ultimate goal for both is greater business comes with a happier customer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we conclude, I would like to have a common question for both the speakers. 3 important factors that are essential for the jewelry industry members to get online. 3 important factors. Mr. Shah, if you can start.
I will go back to my first statement that I made. First, take a decision. Determine that you want to go digital.
So decision is the first factor.
Is the first thing.
All right.
Then the second thing is to prepare and plan.
Prepare and plan.
And then start executing.
Execution.
But there is one thing that is eternally important in anything you do. And that is to relentlessly refine whatever you are doing.
That's persistence. They have to be persistent.
And relentlessly refine. You need to constantly keep improving.
Absolutely right. Mr. Mithun, 3 factors that are most important for the jewelry member.
A friend of mine, one of my board members says this very nice. I'm going to repeat it. If you want to open a biryani shop, first learn how to make very, very good biryani. And so
that's education.
Be sure that you have a really, really good, you have a really good differentiation and a reason to exist as well also. So that is a very, very important part. We must not forget that the channel doesn't overshadow the business overshadows the channel. So that's the first part of it. Second, understanding that building the shop, which is the website, is not a one-day job. It's a starting point. From that point on, every day, as Hemanji said, you're iterating every single week and trying to improve on that all the time. That's a continuous process. Third, the business is not technology. The business still is getting the consumer to love the jewelry that you're making every single day, trying to understand that part of it and trying to understand, like how you would understand in retail, where he drops off, who's not able to convert, who's able to convert. The same exact principles apply here, but at scale. That's the only difference that happens over here as compared to that. And so for me, just building an online business is very different from building a retail business. In retail, people walk in and you might almost feel it's your birthright that they'll buy jewelry from you. But in online, they don't do that. And so it is your duty to make sure that you are relevant for the consumer and that he finds it a reason enough that he should buy from you.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. And the takeaways from this webinar are really exciting, and would be sending you the video recording of this. I would truly like to thank our speakers, Mr. Mithun Sacheti, founder CEO Carrot Lane, Mr. Hemant Shah, trainer, academician, and brand developer. On behalf of the New Jeweler International Media Group, it's been a pleasure to have you eminent speakers on this webinar. And I would now call upon Mr. Ashish Garg, and a special thanks to Nirupa Bhatt, who's been the initiator, who's been with us in all our webinars. Thank you so much, madam. Mr. Ashish Garg, if you want to give a concludatory remark, you're welcome.
I will first like to thank Nitin Bhai and Mr. Hemant for taking the time out and coming on this platform and enlightening all our attendees. It's definitely lots and lots of information has come up, and we have enlightened, and definitely we will try to put it in a summary form so that all the people, and it can be floated around so that everybody is aware of what we have discussed today on this webinar. Also, I'd like to now bring in Ms. Narupama ji, who has been who has initiated initially all the first two webinars, and her take on it, just one take from her side as well.
I think it's great to hear both the speakers, very accomplished. And I think online is here to stay, etc. But I have one question to both of them, and maybe we don't have the time to answer. But I think if I'm a retailer, I'm kind of thinking that jewelry is an emotional purchase. So, and where GCC, for example, is a place where you have a lot of tourists. They come there just for a very few days. Where is the time for them to really go online, find a brand, and do all of those things? Maybe they can come do all that research before they come to visit GCC. But often the tourists buy a lot of jewelry, not just in the GCC, but we have seen that in the cruise ships, etc. And these are all spontaneous, emotional purchases. So I think it will be maybe a question for some other time, and maybe we should think of how do you really bring in these tourists to buy, or how do you really bring them into this fold? Online, can you really attract them, how and when, etc. But I think it's very interesting to hear both the speakers, Mithun and Hemant. Good to see you both. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. And if the speakers would like to give a contact detail of their email address, there are many questions unanswered, and the audience can directly send those questions to the speakers. If you can spare a few moments and give your contact details.
Go ahead, Mithun. First you.
Thanks. Mithun@carrotlane.com.
MITHUN. Mithun.
Yeah, just like the actor.
Yeah. At carrotlane.com. CARATLANE. Carrotlane.com. I hope the participants are getting it right. Mr. Shah.
Me, ME, @shahhemant.com.
ME @Shah, SHAH, Hemant, HEMANT.com. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear speaker.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ashish. That was fantastic. Mithun, thanks.
Expecting all of you for the next webinar that we'll be having very soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.